No houses were demolished in the making of today's episode.
Welcome back to No Ginger. I'm Samar.
I'm Ash, and we have something interesting to talk about today. I think it's interesting.
Do you?
Yeah, well, I kind of just learned about it. So it's a trend of misinformation going about.
We're just the Mythbusters.
We are
of
just
Japan.
here to send the message that you, in fact, do need to spend money if you would like to buy a house in Japan.
I would think so.
Let's talk
Japan
about it.
is not a cheap country.
No. So I have seen this trend going around on Instagram Shorts or YouTube Reels. People buying super cheap houses in Japan. They're like, oh, I bought this house for stupid numbers. Okay.
Some of them are free.
Yes. Anywhere from $3,000 to actual $3,000. And then some more than that. But generally just a number that I cannot compute as actually being worth a house. Like if I saw a car worth that much, I'd even question how cheap it is.
You wouldn't think it would come with wheels.
No, I might consider looking for a more modern, probably more expensive, but probably more up to modern standard vehicle. And I think we should start applying the same logic to houses.
Especially in Japan. So I think Japan has a lot of abandoned houses, the akiya, and no Japanese people want to buy them, and for good reason.
Many good reasons.
But the new market is to try to get foreigners to buy them.
Mm-hmm.
Because foreigners, I guess, want cheap houses in Japan, or they can think of them as vacation homes.
I mean, I'm sure that if you're thinking, oh, that would be nice to have like a cheaper home in Japan, you're thinking, sure, it'll be on like the outskirts of Tokyo, Osaka, even Fukuoka or Kobe, but Aichi, even like Nagoya. But instead, these are homes that are in the middle of nowhere. Is that right?
A lot of them are in the middle of nowhere. You need a car, or like the closest train station is not very close, so it's kind of buyers beware. But there also, a lot of them were made before the earthquake regulations, I think in 1981. So if earthquake comes, it goes a boom and you go with it. So
that's so dramatic. Some people can escape. Someone might, but your child and your dog, we don't know.
Yeah. So I don't know.
I think it's a nice idea to buy a home somewhere in terms of like propping up the Japanese economy, like small local economies. If you bought a house that's in a small town and you're living there full time, so you are supporting the local economy, I actually don't think that that's a bad thing to do. But I don't think that that's what people are expecting. I think they're expecting to move to a house that maybe it's a little bit out of the way. It'll be a nice like Airbnb retreat or something. And in the meantime, like they'll still have access to one of Japan's major cities or have access to a cute local town where people would want to visit. But we're not talking about cute local town type areas. We're talking about your nearest neighbor is 3 football fields away type of areas. You might be in the mountains. And if I have anything to say about Japanese weather, it is the worst weather. I'm pretty dramatic about this, but like, especially in countryside areas, there's a reason why people aren't living there. It gets to very harsh conditions.
Yeah, a lot of mudslides. What do they get? Mudslides. They get earthquake. If you're in Tohoku, they're always
with the earthquakes. If you're if you're in range of Mount Fuji, well,
what happens near Mount Fuji?
Well, it is an active volcano.
Oh God, no thank you, no thank you.
But even simple things like I can run to my local grocery store and find a lot of imported foods. it's not actually that hard to get your hands on things or to get your hands on something similar enough. But for me, this would be a huge point of frustration if I were living out in a countryside area. You're not going to get nice cheese, which you know I love, despite I shouldn't have it. And you're not going to get everything is going to be very basic Japanese food only, which I suppose if you're a Japanese person that might not be a problem, but I personally couldn't eat only Japanese food. I get sick of it after a while. I get sick of any cuisine after a while. Like, the world is so global, and so too are my taste buds. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I find it a little disingenuous that people are targeting foreign customers for these properties, and like some foreign customers are very informed before they make the purchase, but I think a lot are just diving in. Like, you see so many comments where it's like, can I get a visa if I like buy a house or something? And like
but you can't, right?
you cannot. You're not going to get a visa for buying a property. And like, people think they can Airbnb it, but the Airbnb rules here are very, very strict. And it all depends on where you are setting up the Airbnb. I think a lot of YouTubers are like now making Airbnbs, but like, I think they're making them within the confines of the laws, and they're being very strategic about what kind of properties they're buying. So I think
well, that, but also like, okay, so you don't need a visa, or like, you just want to own this house for some reason, and you're going to spend time there. So if you're from the US, you get 90 days in Japan visa free. So you're like, oh, I'm going to spend my summers there, or whatever it may be. There will be no support for you in the area.
Yeah, unless
there will be no, forget, we're like laughing, oh, in Tokyo there's limited English or whatever in a previous episode, but there will seriously be no English to help you.
There is shoga aru in this situation. It's not a shoga nai, but don't make it.
The shoga nai of it is that people are selling this concept of buying a house for super cheap and not including a lot of the information. Now, I know that that's like kind of the basics of a lot of marketing is give the bare minimum, the most attractive pieces of information only, and put the rest of it in the fine print. I totally understand, but that part is shoganai, because again, like, if you've got a bunch of people coming in trying to buy houses or whatever who don't understand the trouble that they're getting into, that's just going to continue to encourage the foreigners type of vibe that we're dealing with.
I think whenever there's when I first came, I didn't understand why Japanese people don't want to live on the first floor, and I didn't understand why Japanese people cared about how old the building is and all these like little things. I thought they were being very picky, but there are very
specific reasons.
There are very real safety reasons for all these things.
For the first one, it's safety for your underwear so that it doesn't get stolen.
And it's easier to break into your house.
And the second one is earthquakes.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah. You don't want to go boom.
I'm not sure that people's houses get broken into much, but I know that
someone tried to break into my house.
Really?
I was on the second floor of an apartment. It was like one of those wooden. There's no entrance. There's no lock. You just go up the stairs. And my neighbor told my Japanese friend that someone had tried to break in. She didn't tell me, but she just told my neighbor because there were footprints. Actually, when I went in, I checked my windowsill. There were footprints.
That's so crazy.
So people can try to... Petty theft
Japan is very safe,
but petty theft is common. Yeah, petty theft is very common.
Of underwear and umbrellas.
Yeah.
Specifically.
And they will.
And there's a third one to that. It's bicycles.
Yeah.
But I will hold back on bikes with one thing, which is that bicycles are usually registered. So you can get it back if you report it.
Yeah.
But the other two, nah, that's long gone.
It's gone. Bye-bye. So, yeah, there's a bunch of safety things to take into consideration.
Sure.
Yeah.
But that being the case, if what you're worried about is petty theft, like, go ahead, live in the middle of nowhere. No one's stealing anything from you.
And even if they do, there's no one to help you.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's gone.
It's
Theしょうがない.
gone.
But the しょうがある is, of course, like, be careful what information you're consuming.
Yeah.
And please just don't buy abandoned houses. I saw when we were scrolling through some of the comments, I think my favorite thing that I've ever seen. So this was in reply to someone writing like, wow, I want to buy this house in Japan for $3,300. Like, it's so cheap. You have the normal comments who are like, yeah, that plus the $100,000 you'll have to pay in renovations. Like, yeah, that plus the, $80,000 a month you're going to spend in gas just to get somewhere important. And then the one person after that who considered the one good free aspect of this.
What was the free aspect?
You can get complimentary yokai.
Yeah, it can be haunted.
Yes.
Very haunted.
That's the
Haunted
thing
house.
too. Like in Japan, that they will do is they have to tell you if someone died in an apartment. So if you want to buy. You want to rent or whatever an apartment that someone has died in, like they are legally obligated to tell you for a certain number of years past that death. Yeah, people they're not picky, but in this one I feel like it's a little bit picky, but on the other hand, it's kind of scary. No one wants a free poltergeist.
Yeah, I don't want to live with a ghost.
Are you ready to hear about an email that we have?
Sure. Did they buy a house that they could not return?
Well, I think they could return it. I think they even moved from this house. The problem with this house was their neighbors, which you can really understand these days. Yes.
My neighbor has become my worst nemesis up till date.
Let's quick flashback, link below to episode 1.
I take back everything I said.
Samar was very bold. She was like, oh, if some neighbor is bothering me, I'm taping speakers to the ceiling. I'm going to go up there. I'm going to fight them. I'm going to leave hate messages. Samar had this all sorted out. I might be overstating what she actually said.
I didn't say anything about hate messages.
I think you said you would threaten. You'll call the police. You'll call management.
I have threatened to call the police, and I have called management.
Well,
so that I do not take back.
No speakers have been taped to the ceiling.
Because I found actually a new, more vengeful way to express my rage.
So, Samar, now that we're back on the topic of episode 1 and all of its issues, which was noisy neighbors.
Is that what the email is about?
Well, it's not about noisy neighbors, but it is about neighbors. But I want to hear about your neighbor.
My neighbor first?
Yeah.
So my neighbor, God bless, is, I think, a student because they're always awake at night. And I don't know what they're doing, but you just hear scraping against the floor. You hear the washing machine late into the night above my bedroom. You hear just him dropping everything all the time.
How does he have any stuff? I feel like it should all be broken.
I don't know, but like he's kind of driving me nuts. I've called the management 3 times. I think they've yelled at him twice. The last time I told them I will call the police on him. I'm wondering if I should write a letter because I know he's a foreigner. And what's fucked up about this is he's a foreigner who kind of looks a little bit like me. He has curly hair.
Oh no.
A little bit like
he could be your long lost cousin.
That's why it'd be your own people, man. Like I'm not sure he's one of my people. I don't think he is.
But what if he's one of your people?
It's just
what are you gonna do?
I'm gonna tackle him to the
tell
streets.
him that he's a goat.
It's a he's a goat. He's a
Whatever,
baby cow.
Yeah, whatever it was your mom used to call you.
My mom used to call me a little bitch. That's what she used to call me.
Really?
Yeah, it's a term of endearment.
Is it? Really?
Yeah, ask anyone.
I'm so curious. But this is not the point of this podcast. Instead, we're gonna give some advice
on what to do with your neighbor again.
On what to do with a neighbor.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's see what you have to say about this one.
Okay.
Hello, Samar and Ash.
Hi.
Hello. Thought I'd share a couple of my more amusing Japan experiences, both centered around what seems to be a very specific form of neighborhood justice.
I would like justice.
What?
I want justice.
Well, this is your justice. Bike tire slashing.
Sounds like a good idea.
All right. This one happened about 16 years ago when I was living in Kumamoto in a share house with a bunch of fellow gaijin eikaiwa teachers. One Saturday night, we threw a bit of a party in our ground floor apartment, probably around 10 people, and yeah, we got a little noisy by Japanese standards, wrapped up around midnight. Not long after, a few friends who'd just left came back saying their bike tires had been slashed. All of them. We all looked at each other and knew this had to be the work of a disgruntled neighbor. No one said anything before or after, just slash. Message sent. At the time, I didn't own a bike, so I dodged that bullet, but I definitely took the lesson to heart. In Japan, sometimes silence isn't peace. It's the calm before your tires get knifed.
I like it. This is giving me ideas.
There is a part 2 to this, but we're going to pause here because it's too long to handle all in one go. Would you slash homeboy's tires?
On camera, I cannot confirm or deny.
She would do it. She would friggin' do it.
Do
if you had a sharp enough knife, you would do it.
Do I have a sharp enough knife?
See, I'm actually worried about the quality of your knives, so I don't know.
Then no. But if I knew he had a bike, I cannot confirm or deny whether it would be safe.
But I don't think he would realize, like, why it happened.
He has gotten 2 phone calls. So from gaijin to gaijin, he has gotten 2 phone calls telling him to shut the hell up.
Okay, but at the same time, if he
who
knows
else?
that it's you, you might have to face repercussions.
Nah, there's no such things. They can't prove nothing. There are no cameras. They don't know. They don't know.
I feel like you're just the obvious suspect. No, because they don't know who did it.
It has to be the neighbor. One of them.
But it's a share house, so which neighbor? Could have been a share house resident themselves. Well, like, we don't know.
He has no proof I've done anything wrong.
All right, well, if you think Samar is getting out of this one without a little talking to from the police, you let me know.
Prove it.
Let's fast forward to the 2010 World Cup. Back to the email.
World Cup, that sounds awful. I think this foreigner upstairs, this dear neighbor of mine, might also be a gaming soccer person because I've seen them in a jersey. Like a soccer-looking jersey. I'm pretty sure it was soccer. So I feel like if there's any World Cup coming, I'm doomed. I'm out. I'm done. I'm done for.
Well, you've been asking me, should I move? So, there's your answer. If the World Cup comes back, well, it will come back. When it comes back on,
I don't even live
either smash his TV.
I might have to smash his TV. I've thought actually about using the birds for my revenge.
How the heck are you going to do that?
So my downstairs neighbor really loves birds.
Right.
So he keeps feeding them. So they like to hang out around this building. So if I throw some bread upwards, the birds are all going to go over there and poop. So then he can't hang his laundry anymore. It's an amazing revenge.
That's just so silly. But I would do that. That I like. I like that way better than bike tire slashing.
Okay.
That just seems crazy.
Use nature.
Also, he's a student. He can't afford new bike tires. Please be kind. So fast forward to the 2010 World Cup. I'm now married, living in Ropponmatsu, Fukuoka.
Oh my god, that's all I need. This guy to get married and have 2 voices above me instead of 1.
One night, I'm up late watching the Australia versus Germany match. And afterward, I duck out to the 24-hour sunny supermarket, come back, head to my Mama Cherry, and yep, both tires cleanly slashed. I told my wife and straight away guessed it was the elderly lady upstairs. She'd banged on the floor before when we had the TV on too loud. My wife didn't disagree, but warned me not to confront her. Please, I can't read. Let me try that again. But warned me not to confront her. People don't say things directly here, she said, and as a foreigner, it might backfire. But I couldn't help myself. The next morning, I knocked on her door. She didn't open it, just shouted from behind the door. I apologized for being noisy and then asked, very politely, if she happened to know anything about my slashed tires. She got properly offended. Yes, you were noisy, but how dare you accuse me? My heart hurts. I started apologizing even more, feeling guilty, until she suddenly said, let's forgive each other. That's when it hit me. I knew what I was apologizing for, but what exactly was she forgiving? That line gave the whole thing away. She totally did it. 5,000 yen and 2 new tires later, I had my answer, and a story I still laugh about. Haven't had a tire slash since. Fingers crossed the streak holds, but what do you think? Is there ginger here, or is it as lost a cause as my bike tires?
The ginger was to stay quiet and not bother your neighbors.
Okay, but also, like, as the noisy friend in the neighborhood,
I would like to say that we got this email a long time ago.
It was a long time ago.
And at the time that we got this email, I felt like I was on the foreigner guy's side.
Now?
And now I am on the Japanese neighbor's side.
Okay, well, my little devil's advocate over here. The thing is that people should be allowed to make a little bit of noise. And if it is a weekend and you're being noisy up to like midnight, I think it's fine. Like Friday and Saturday. I
am relaxing.
Fine.
Shut up. Be quiet.
You're normally out. What are you even talking about?
I was home yesterday. It was Saturday night. I was busy
editing. You had to get ready for this.
I was editing my life away.
Okay, but like, come on. You can't tell people that they can't have friends. You've had a bunch of people come over to your apartment and have parties, vomit in your toilet or whatever.
No one's vomited in my toilet yet. My toilet can't handle that shit. Look at my toilet.
You're paying too much for a leaking toilet. So sorry. Vomiting in other people's toilets after visiting Samar's place. And then...
Put respect on that boy's name. He made it to Ikebukuro station before vomiting.
Well, I'm sure he found someone else's pile to add to.
Yeah.
Sorry, everyone. The horrors of Ikebukuro and Shinagawa station are known to many. That's all we should say. Shinagawa. Bro, Shinagawa.
It's disgusting.
It's disgusting.
Okay.
Moving back to the topic at hand. Let people be a little noisy sometimes. When it's all the time and it's constant, then it's really a problem.
I would like to point out that I did not lose my shit or call the management over one night. It was many nights in a row.
I can confirm she is not lying.
I have to go to bed with earplugs now.
Okay, but was that really because of the neighbor?
Partially.
Like, I feel the whole neighborhood is a little bit noisy.
Yeah, but I was getting used to the outside noise. But then homie upstairs, he decided he wants to run a laundromat above my head.
Yeah.
Like, keeps running
It sounds like he's, like, sitting in an office chair or something, and he keeps sliding it back and forth.
Yes, I know. I saw him by the chair. He brought it home. I witnessed the day everything changed, and my life took a turn for the worst. That's how I knew who he was. Because of I was like, oh, someone's buying an office chair. It's a wheelie chair. And suddenly I hear wheel above my head. I was like, fudge me.
No, thank you.
So I know who he is. I've seen him multiple times. And the worst thing is he held the door open for me one time when I was coming out.
That's so nice.
Yeah, so I think he could be a very nice human. But, like, his legs are too long that I couldn't catch up with him to try to talk to him. So then he just raced off to the station, and I'm just like, wait! But, like, he was speed up, like, as in, my little legs can't keep up.
You can only go so far.
I was not blessed with height.
She was not. She does not have a need for speed.
No, my gait is very... So...
Yeah.
Every time he does something, I know what he's doing. If I hear the laundromat, I know what's gonna happen on the balcony the next day. This kind of thing. Like I know everything.
You know his whole life.
I do, but he knows nothing about me. He cares nothing about me.
That's because he can't hear about you over the sound of his own
nonsense.
Noise.
Yeah. So okay. He needs to care about me. I've cared so much about his daily routine at this point. He needs to return some of the care. So, like, after I called the management company for the third time, and they let him know at Toph wrote a letter for me.
Oh, that's so nice of Toph.
Yeah, because he said I cannot be trusted to write this letter.
Stop.
So I have yet to deliver the letter, but that might be the next. After that, I don't know what to do. I did tell them I would call the police, but I feel too bad to call the police on another foreigner. Like, I feel like it's breaking it's breaking some foreigner code of ethics. There's honor among thieves.
What if you also go to him and just say, let's forgive each other?
So maybe this email is really the ginger for me.
Yeah. Actually, like, what you're getting here is that you're the annoyed one, but homegirl annoyed one was like, we can just forgive each other.
Can I forgive and forget?
Well,
maybe he's my future best friend.
You know what? Let's drop back to like 3 episodes ago. Exposure, consistent exposure to a person does perchance friendship make.
Unless this is, you know what they do to like torture prisoners is like constant,
that
like
is
they're dripping.
Also consistent exposure.
I think it's torture, right? That noise, like when they drip water again and again and again. That's how they drive prisoners.
What is it
crazy?
Called? Chinese water torture, or whatever they call that.
Yeah, like the noise.
I watched a Mythbusters about that one time. They were trying to find out like if it works, and like all of them had mental breakdowns.
I don't want to be annoyed by noise, but it is so annoying. It's just inescapable. Like, it drives me nuts. So I understand why this woman lost it and slashed it, especially if she'd warned them before.
The thing is, right?
She'd warned them before.
On the first one, it feels crazier than the second time, because the second time I was watching TV and she's told us before, like, or complained before, it's gotten a bit noisy or whatever. But the first one was like, oh, we just had a little bit of a gathering.
10 teachers is not a little bit.
10 teachers.
And like, he acknowledged that they're very loud.
Right. But it was done at midnight. But regardless, actually, no, the thing is that it was only one time. But it's like one party, and then all bike tires are slashed. What extra knowledge do you have here that you would like to share? Comments from the peanut gallery, please.
Doubt it was one time, because I waited a whole month when I first moved in before. I don't want to call the management company on anybody. I waited until I lost it because I hate making phone calls. So I waited a whole month before I called, and then I called, and then I waited another like month and a half to see if it would get better, and then finally my friend was over and she could hear the noise, and she's like, what is he possibly like? What is going through his mind, right? Like, he has already been warned, right? And now I have to call again. So I wonder, like, some people just wouldn't call. Like, I can see myself not calling. Like, I can't,
but I think it's interesting that you can.
Like, because I didn't want to call. But it's just,
I can understand. But, like, especially if you're somebody who is crazy enough to go and slash a bike tire, I also feel, or throw breadcrumbs, I also feel that you're somebody who would make a phone call. So
no, I can see myself, like, a lot of people don't call, rather they just hit the ceiling.
Okay, well, that's still a form of warning.
Yeah, but that one is 1-to-1, right? Like,
but what I'm wondering is, was there any warning previous? Like, did somebody come and knock? Like, they might have been so noisy that someone was, like, knocking on the door trying to say, like, could you please quit it with the noise?
The tire slashing is the warning. Don't come here again.
Yeah, but that bothers me, though. Because I feel like that needs to be, first of all, don't slash people's bike tires. Actually, what is wrong with you? But second, Samar,
I haven't slashed anything. I haven't done anything.
She's plotting. I can see it.
I haven't done anything. Innocent until proven guilty.
You literally tell me all of your plans. I want to wait till I see where the birds are.
She's taken up, the position of being this kid's lawyer, his advocate.
I just think that it's crazy, because it's not like if somebody is annoying you over noise that is going to stop. In this case, right? It's a party. They're going to stop being noisy. It's unlikely that it happens again, like, so soon. It's not going to be a consistent or constant thing. So I feel like if you're that annoyed, you can just make some noise back or send them a letter or whatever. But how is it that your first thought is, I'm going to, for the sake of you having fun, I'm now going to charge you money? Because that's actually what it is. Right? Because if your bike tires have been slashed, you have to pay to replace them. You know? And that, to me, like, I just feel like that's so hideous. That's so ugly of you to just go, let me intentionally like force somebody to make a payment that they didn't want to make. It doesn't bring you any benefit other than like being excited that you forced somebody to spend money. Like, that's just so ugly.
It's a penalty for being noisy.
Yeah, but it's not a penalty paid to you. You don't get any value out of that.
This crazy person found value. I'm
not
a supporter.
She did.
Well, we don't know the first one if it was a woman or not, right?
Well, yeah, whoever it was, I don't know. But regardless, it's and it's not like they weren't aware that the noise was from foreigners. So there's two, like, you can tell if the conversation, regardless of if you speak the language or not, you have a bunch of Eikaiwa teachers together, you know that they're all speaking English.
But at the same time, I do feel like, in my image, a group of Eikaiwa teachers together wouldn't have cared, even if they were drinking and stuff and someone tried to like bam bam bam, like you're being noisy, they would not have cared.
No, I agree with you. As I said earlier, you know, somebody might have tried to knock.
Yeah.
But I still think, like, if your reaction is, it's so stupid to go, oh, well, my reaction to this is I'm going to slash your bike tires so that you can't go home. Like, on one hand, thank you for saving them from drunkenly killing themselves on their bicycles.
That could also
Maybe
work.
It was an act of
kindness.
yeah.
Neighborhood justice. Vigilanteism.
Exactly. Vigilante justice. On the other hand, though, it's like, well, now these people probably have to just stay over.
Make more noise.
And just make more noise. Like, think things through, you know, like creating justice for yourself or getting revenge is just never, I just don't think that's the way to go. I'm sorry to be a big, like,
call the police. That would have been
because
easier.
I also feel like the police would have been better on all accounts, because they could have, if somebody had seen him slashing the tire, they could have then called the police. Like, and now you're in a world of hurt. Like, it's just dumb. I'm not seeing the intelligence in either of these.
I don't think this was intelligence. I think this is a way to avoid direct confrontation.
Okay. Well, we know how I feel about that as well.
Yeah.
Which
so
is, I'm sorry, but you're a human and you live in the world, and sometimes you have to take care of things. I get it.
What is it? In favor of direct confrontation.
I am.
Not in favor of direct confrontation.
Okay, but you have seen... Do you want to know what I did the other day?
What did you do now?
This is so silly. This wasn't even in... I was physically in Japan, but this confrontation has nothing to do with Japan.
Were you fighting people in Singapore?
No. I was physically in Japan.
Oh, okay.
No, it has to do with airlines.
Of course. She was fighting the airlines now.
I was fighting Delta. I love Delta very much. And...
they're in this close of a relationship where they can just fight and make up.
We're like siblings, Delta and I. Okay. So here's how it went down.
Oh boy.
Last year, Bamboo Boy and I were on a flight that clipped the tail of another aircraft while we were still on the ground. So on the aircraft, all we hear is this like massive metal screeching noise. And I, the naive human that I am, look at Bamboo Boy, a pilot, who goes, or former pilot, who goes, oh, we are not flying today. We're not going anywhere. And I'm like, it's fine, right? And he's like, no, no, we will not be leaving the ground. And I'm like, it can't be that bad. They just bumped something. Lo and behold, the wing is like gone. And the tail of the other aircraft was flat on the ground. So
who slashed their tires?
Yeah, exactly. No tires were slashed, but wings were clipped. And anyway, so because of this error, Delta gave us apology money.
I want apology money from upstairs.
I know you want apology money from upstairs. And that's the stupidity of tire slashing. See, if you slash the tires, now they have to spend the money elsewhere. They can't spend it on you.
I don't think I was gonna get apology money.
I
anyway.
didn't think so either. Anyway, so we got $1,500 US from Delta as a, we're so sorry that this happened. We were like stuck in the airport for 9 hours or something. It was just annoying. I have been on longer layovers, to be fair. Just recently, I thought, okay, I'm going to book tickets. I have to use this Delta voucher because if I don't use it by sometime like in the next 2 months, I would lose the money. So definitely have to use it regardless. So I go on Delta on my account. I find the flight that I want and I book it. I put the voucher code in and the total comes down to, I believe it was 227 yen.
That's wonderful.
It was awesome.
Okay, so why are you fighting Delta?
No. Just wait. The website then proceeds to crash as I go to do the same thing for Bamboo Boy's account. He has the same voucher. So I open it up, find the same flights, log the voucher in, and the website just keeps redirecting us back to the main page. Like, we cannot make this booking. So I get on like Delta's messaging service because it tends to be faster than calling. And I'm like, hey, this is what's going on. Like, here's my receipt. And they're like, okay, yeah, we can help you make that booking. Okay, we verified your voucher. You need to now pay, it was like 900 something yen. But it was the exact same flights. I could still see the same price posted. And now I was like, I'm going to war over 700 yen. Don't even stop me. So yeah, so that's
in this economy.
In this economy, I was like, that is the difference between me and buying coffee at Dean and DeLuca tomorrow. I am getting that 700 yen. Okay. I'm like, okay, well, the reason why is it now more expensive? And they're like, oh, we see a different cost of the flight than you do. And I said, okay, well, put in the cost that I'm telling you that I see. And they're like, oh, well, we're on the US site, so we can't see what you see in Japanese yen. And you're thinking, okay, well, there's just an exchange rate. Like, how is it? But somehow that flight was more expensive in the US at that time by a few dollars than how expensive it was in Japan. Everybody take notes. Airlines are all lying to you. These costs are totally made up. Because of this, they were like, okay, well, we can't handle that discrepancy for you, so I'm going to send you to the next level. I message with 3 different people.
For 700 yen?
Yeah, it's the principle of the thing. Like, why is it that because your website is crashing, I have to pay more money? You know? Like, that's the part that was getting me. Is that the website is crashing, so I have to pay more money.
She's activated like, middle-aged Japanese negotiator powers.
So finally, I get on the phone with the right person. They give me the right phone number. And I tell her the story. And she's like, okay, one moment. I will contact my agent.
She has an agent?
I guess she also has an agent. She comes back and she goes, okay, ma'am, we've worked this out for you. You're going to pay 102 yen for this flight. She was like, we got it down to the same price. You will now pay 102 yen. And I was like, and it was 227 when I paid. So after all my fighting, I got a 50% discount. Brilliant.
So basically
what I'm saying is, if you're going to fight with somebody, if you're going to be annoyed about something, just take the direct route. It tends to work very well. That's the moral to this story.
How long did all this fighting take you?
Like 30 minutes?
No way. 30 minutes?
I think in total it was about 30 minutes.
Sounds like an hour or 2 hours.
Well, I was also like, there was the chat time, messaging wise, which probably took about 5 minutes each time, because as soon as they realize what the problem is, they're like, I can't help you, I'll send you to the next person, who then goes, okay, I have access to your previous chat, I can't help you, I'll send you to the next person.
If I'm on the phone just with A&A, it takes like over an hour to reach them.
Well, I was also calling at what would not be normal hours to call Delta in the US.
That helps.
So that definitely helped, because it was nighttime. So then when they put me on hold, I wasn't worried about it because I was also making dinner at the same time.
But at the same time,
it wasn't that bad. I wouldn't like to do it again. You know, I wouldn't be excited if you were like, oh, you need to make another phone call to. I don't want to, but
at the same time, most people, including me, to not have this much energy.
Yeah, but it's the principle. You've got to understand. It's the principle of the thing.
The principle is we just want a calm, cozy life.
Yes.
Stop.
I can't have a calm, cozy life if you make me pay 900 yen because your website doesn't work. I'm going to be mad about it. But I'm not mad because they realized that it was an error that was their problem. And then they fixed it so beautifully for me. So, direct confrontation for the win.
For those of us who lack confrontation skills, what should we do?
I have confrontation skills, so I don't have these problems.
So basically,
get you a friend who can confront.
Do you want to go upstairs?
Bro, I'll go do it right now. Like, I don't know. I think I was over here and I threatened to, like, I'm just going to go talk to him. And you were like, no, don't.
Okay. After this, we're going to go upstairs and talk to my neighbor.
Is he home? I haven't heard any noise, so you see.
The thing is, I think he's like a vampire. He wakes up at night. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see what happens.
Edward Cullen, we're coming for you.
Yeah. So for this emailer, welcome to Japan.
Yeah,
that's what I would say. Like, because it's not unusual for people to like. I think there was a story where these neighbors were so noisy. They were driving this neighbor crazy for like months or years. Poisoned their food. That was a direct confrontation.
That is not direct. That
My
is the
point,
most
exactly.
indirect.
They poisoned their food and they killed them. So
that's
like that,
nuts. That's crazy.
Like if you go on Reddit, it's just post after post after post after post about neighbor issues. It just never ends.
Do you know why it never ends? Because no one just goes and says, this is a problem.
They do. Like, they try.
But some people are nervous. Like, I think if you're a woman living alone, especially.
What's my situation? Like I don't want people to know.
Well, it's not even that. Like, you could even lie and be like, my partner and I are very disturbed. Like, sure.
My partner.
But, of course, I am your partner in podcasting. No, but it's, what if he decides to figure out your schedule and, like, take some form of revenge? Yeah. On this front, I can actually really understand why people would be very hesitant to be direct about a confrontation. But you also, please don't poison anyone. That is definitely
I mean,
illegal.
that's one of the craziest stories that came out of Japan but they are like, they will kill their neighbor. They will poison their neighbors.
Here's the fact of the matter in life is you can't, two things. If they were going to be that crazy, they've always been that crazy. Second, you can't choose your family and you can't choose you can choose your friends. You can't choose your family and you can't choose your neighbors.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. So the only thing you can do is move and hope for the best. Or just keep paying for bike tires.
It's alright. I bought my earplugs, my Loop earplugs. They're working great. I'll have to hear him anyway.
Loop, please sponsor us.
At this point, like, that's basically the only solution that you can find on Reddit that works for anything is earplugs. Yeah. In Japan, just earplugs.
Okay, well, that's the ginger for this episode. We take back everything we said in episode 1.
Earplugs.
Earplugs are the answer and the way.
Yeah.
Do you know what you need? The crazy lady that we found in your neighborhood.
I wish she would just come here. Yeah, freaking crazy lady.
She can just stand outside of his door and pound on it and yell,
Shanghai, Seoul,
Shanghai, Seoul. And it will be, he won't speak again.
For reference, dear audience, there was a crazy lady in my neighborhood. Ash bent down in the street to tie her shoes.
Yeah, I was at the edge, but I was definitely not at like the walking side. I was still more in the like.
We had been walking, and then she bent down to tie her shoes, and this lady starts like tapping her ears and starts screaming, "Shanghai, Seoul, Shanghai, Seoul."
Well,
I thought she was a beggar.
No, because she started off and she yelled at me, "One-san abunai." So I thought she was telling me like, "Don't tie your shoes in the road." you crazy person.
Yeah. Originally she started like, and then she started
so at first I was like, oh, sorry. So I moved out of the way thinking that like a car is coming.
And then there was no
there
car.
was no car.
And then it was just Shanghai Seoul. Shanghai Seoul. I was like, what?
What are you talking about?
I thought she wanted money to buy a ticket to Shanghai or Seoul. Like she wanted to go home.
I thought she was telling us like it's like Shanghai or Seoul, but I was like, it's really quiet right now. Like, what are you talking about?
Know.
And we were not. I know you might find this hard to believe, but we were not being noisy.
Yeah, no, there was plenty like Japanese families walking by being like, ah!
Yeah.
And then she basically wanted us. She was just like, there are so many foreigners here. Be quiet.
Yes.
I'm like, shut the hell up.
You just shut up. You're being louder than both of us combined.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, you need to find her and be like,
send her upstairs.
Yeah, tell her there's a foreigner being noisy upstairs. She'll go.
You know
clearly.
I have too much gaijin ethics to sick that psycho on any other foreigner. Like I can't do that. I'm not that evil yet.
Mm-hmm.
Might enter my villain era soon.
We'll check in again next month. See how it's going.
I think he stopped doing his laundry after the last warning.
That's nice.
Yeah.
All right.
So we'll see how it goes.
Rolling now.
So, yeah, but the chair rolling he does mostly during the day, so I can see. I'm learning I'm adjusting to him.
This whole episode has just now been lost because you're like, well, actually, it's not that bad. Well, actually, he does watch at what time he does things.
No, I just yelled at him last week to the management company. He just got yelled at last week. We'll see. Last time he got yelled at, he was good for like a week, and then he went back to old ways.
しょうがない.
Yeah, we might pay him a visit soon. That's the shoga aru. Yes,
I am the shoga. I'm ready.
You are tough. Somebody's going up there.
Like tough is actually a safer option because he's a man, and I know that the guy upstairs is a man. But
and they both like soccer.
Oh well, you might be sending up just like a whole another racket. You might just become friends, and then you'll never hear from Toph again.
Where are Toph's tires?
Oh my goodness. This has been
No Ginger.
Thank you for joining us. As always, you can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube if you'd rather watch episodes. Follow us on Instagram at No Ginger Podcast. Send us your shoganais, whatever you want us to talk about, whatever advice you need, at nogingerpodcast@gmail.com. If you've got a problem,
well, put it on the podcast. Bye.